Welcome to the Dear Rochester Retire Well podcast with David Pulcini from 6 Point Financial Partners. In this podcast, find your path towards a brighter financial future with David as your guide as he helps individuals, educators, and healthcare professionals explore ways they can build wealth while minimizing risk using a multifaceted, comprehensive approach to personal finance. Are you ready to take the first step towards a brighter financial tomorrow? Let's get started.
How much money is enough to retire on? You have $500,000, you have 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, whatever the number, and you want to know how long it will last into retirement. How much money is enough to retire comfortably? That is a great question. So I was recently with a group of pretty successful people, and the conversation, not started by me, by the way, turned to how much money is enough to retire. And this is a question we get all the time. I was interested in where these guys would take the conversation and what they would say, as none of them are in the business of retirement planning or retirement income planning like I am. So I let their conversation go. I did not want to jump in or interrupt, and I wanted to see what happened. So, and by the way, if you didn't know, just for some credibility here, I guess, our firm is named 6 Point for the 6 points of financial planning. One of those points that we specialize in is retirement income planning. So this is something we do all the time. I've literally personally done this hundreds, if not thousands of times for people over the last 20 years. So the gentlemen, the few of them having this conversation all do very different things, like many of our listeners. One is a high-level administrator in a public school. Another is a controller at a large local business. And the other is an extremely successful businessman in the snack business who actually also happens to be a professional referee. Anyway, the conversation went like this. One person said, seemingly out of nowhere, "How much do you need to retire anyway?" And one of the other guys said, "You should get like 10% returns and just take that." And another said, "Why don't you just live off the interest?" How much can you take out of your current investments and never run out of money? When is the absolute best time to take Social Security? Are you 100% confident in your investment strategy? Are you paying too much in taxes? Why? If something were to happen to you today, what would they find? If you are doubting any of this and would like a second opinion or to review these items, along with many more, feel free to reach out to us. You can visit us at www.6pointsfp.com or email us at info@6pointfp.com. Back to the show. Then it went into what most people are saying now. What I hear all the time when we're doing retirement planning is, I'm still going to work and do something. So how much do I need? I don't know. And another chipped in and said, these were great additions to the conversation. What about Social Security? What if you have a pension? Do you still have a mortgage? And those are great questions. That is more on the appropriate path of how to answer this. So it went on much longer, but here is what I did not hear. And it would have made me so happy. And the question again was, how much do you need to retire? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to say this back? Well, I know exactly how much I need because of my pension, our Social Security, the expenses that we have, and our goals. We need an investment account worth about $920,000 to live comfortably. Wouldn't that be awesome? Could you imagine knowing that number and working toward that number over the years rather than guessing at the number or guessing at how much you should be saving for retirement? And knowing, what a difference. So I'll tell you, folks, it's liberating. It is liberating to know what that number is. So there used to be a commercial, I believe it was Fidelity. It would say, "What's your number?" Maybe it was Voya. What is your number? I loved that commercial. People walking around with a number above their head. Some advisors didn't like it, but it's like, because most folks don't even know what that means. But what is your number that you need? I thought it was great. So it is energizing to know this rather than looking forward to the future with anxiety or unease. Knowing helps you look forward to the future with anticipation and excitement, right? So let's talk about how this fictitious and confident person got to their number of 920,000, for example. And since we are focused just on the retirement number, I'm going to give a quick disclaimer here. I am not touching on the beneficiary planning or detailed tax planning in this episode, Medicare, RMDs, detailed investment planning or and other custom goals someone might have, real estate, individual stock options, business interests, any of that stuff. That's not the point of this. So I wanted to make this simple and actionable. So this is an outline that you can use to figure out your number. Okay. Step one is, how much money do you need every month to live on today? It could be whatever your number is, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, doesn't matter. I like to break it down monthly because that is what most people are used to when they do a budget, right? You can certainly do this yearly as well or annually, but that's it. How much do you need? Okay. Step two, what will that amount be approximately? We're never going to get this right when you retire. And again, you'll likely never know exactly the number, but we just want to be in the ballpark. Okay. Will you have certain things paid off? Will you have purchased something new? Maybe a second home. That's the most common. If you're purchasing a new second home, how do we build that into that number? So we have to take a guess at inflation and the cost of living going up between now and then. But after all of those considerations, we should have a number. Okay. Approximately what will my monthly or yearly, depending on how you calculate it, costs be that I need in retirement? Okay. Now that we know, or hopefully we're at least close, the amount we need, where will it come from? You guys have heard me say this 1,000 times. How much do you need? Where will it come from? This is exactly that, right? How much do you need? Step three, where will it come from? Maybe you'll have an income in retirement from working, pension benefits, Social Security, and then you'll have your savings. Okay. That savings could be in a 401k, 403b, IRA, SEP plans, Roths, brokerage accounts, bank accounts, and a lot more, right? Basically, whatever you have invested.
A quick interruption. 6 Point Financial Partners is taking on new clients. If you would like to take the next step in planning your future with Dave or the 6 Point team, please visit them at www.sixpointfp.com to schedule a time or reach out via LinkedIn, Facebook, or simply find us on the internet by searching 6 Point Financial Partners. Okay, back to the show.
So where will it come from? Those are those accounts. The last step is step four. You need to figure out the gap between your guaranteed income and what you need. Okay. Let me give a quick example here. If your Social Security is, let's say between you and a spouse, $4,000 a month, your pension is $6,000, and you are working right now to earn $2,000, your total income is about $12,000 a month. And many of you are saying, hey, that's all I would need. It's all relative, folks. Some people will need $3,000 a month. Some will need $30,000. We work with all sorts. So, and then three things here. One, maybe this person needs $13,000 a month and they're only getting 12. Two, remember, many of these benefits won't keep up with inflation. Okay. Maybe they're only getting a raise, like a New York State pension, for example. Maybe it's the 0.5% only in the first $18,000 or something. That's not going to keep up with inflation. And third, the Social Security, pension, and part-time income, for example, is taxable. So most times when we calculate what we need, it is based on what we need after taxes are taken out. So this person says they need 13,000. They're saying they get 12. Well, guess what? They have to pay taxes on that 12. Okay. So this person needs to figure out how much they need pre-tax to make that happen. Okay. Barring the Roth and potentially some other tax-free investments. Again, I'm not going to get into that, but this person is going to get roughly $9,000 per month after taxes, and they need 13,000 or 14. Let's say 14,000 for easier math. That leaves us with a $5,000 gap. Okay. So they're going to get 9. They need 14, gap of 5,000. Where will that come from? And this number is the number, I believe, that started this original conversation. How much do I need to retire comfortably? When people ask this question, this is the question they're asking. How much do I need to fill in that gap? Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now how we figure that out. If you need $5,000 per month or $60,000 per year, how much do you think you need? Go ahead and take a guess. The answer that I'm comfortable with is it'd be $1.5 million. Okay. Where does this come from? Where did that number come from? The $1.5 million. A lot of studies obviously have been done on this type of investment planning, but in 1994, study on the safe withdrawal rates became the catalyst for the popular 4% rule. And the 4% rule says this: you can safely take 4% of your investment throughout retirement and not run out of money. Okay. For example, if you have $100,000 in an investment, you can take $4,000 per year. If you have $500,000, you can take $20,000 a year. If you have $1 million, it's $40,000. So for this person, the sample person we talked about, they need $1.5 million to take out $60,000 per year. Again, I'm skipping taxes right now. Okay. This study showed, and has since held true, by the way, that in a 30-year retirement, someone that is invested in a 60-40 portfolio, okay, 60% stocks, 40% safer stuff, fixed income, I won't get into that, has an 85 to 90% chance of success or of not running out of money, okay? Over 30 years, 85 to 90%, they're not going to run out of money and they can continue to take that income. For my friend who said take 10%, you could take 10%, statistically, their chances of success are 0 to 5%. I don't want to take that bet. So now there are a number of adjustments that can be made here. Taking on more or less risk with the investments, a longer or shorter retirement, right? Taking more or less out as the markets change. I'm not going to get into a sequence of returns risk, but if the markets are down and you take it, that might not be good. If the markets are up, maybe it'll last longer. Okay. For the purpose of this exercise, though, I would use the 4% rule of thumb as a guide. Okay. We use charts to show this to clients or prospective clients and walk through the risk of each investment and talk about their comfort level. And I can tell you this, once you get to the 6% range on withdrawals, things start to get more difficult no matter how you invest it. Now, there's some of you saying, hey, I see a 6% or 7% or 8% guaranteed annuity. I've got a different podcast on that works a little bit differently. It might not be liquid. We can't use it for certain things. I'm not going to get into that, but 6% on a normal investment, things get difficult. The percent chance of success goes down significantly. Okay. So let me recap here. If you were trying to figure out your number, here are the steps again. Step 1, how much money do you need every month or year today in today's dollars? Step 2, what will that amount be approximately when you retire? Step 3, where will this money come from? Step 4, what amount do we need to be able to have to take 4% to fill the gap? Okay. There are some nuances to this with when and how to take your pension, Social Security, investments, tax planning, but I just want to get you in the ballpark and hopefully make you feel more empowered and confident with and comfortable with whatever number you throw out there. So if you need help determining your number or have any further questions, reach out to any good financial advisor, or you can reach us at info@sixpointfp.com. You can find me on LinkedIn or shoot me a text message. Low barrier to entry. I'm not going to bother you. We won't bother you. Text me 585-406-4645. Make it a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Dear Rochester Retire Well podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of 6 Point Financial Partners. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.
Content here is for illustrative and educational purposes only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized financial advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. Results will vary. Past performance is no indication of future results or success. Market conditions change continuously. This commentary reflects the personal opinions, viewpoints, and analysis of 6 Point Financial Partners. It does not necessarily represent those of RFG Advisory, Private Client Services, their clients, or their employees. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by 6 Point Financial Partners or RFG Advisory, or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives of Private Client Services, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory, a registered investment advisor. Private Client Services, 6 Point Financial Partners, and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place.